Winning is not a sometime thing, it's an all-time thing. You don't win once in a while. You don't do things right once in a while. You do them right all the time. Winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing. Vince Lombardi. My friends, we want to make winning a habit here, and the way we do that is we practice hard, 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. And when I say each and every day, I mean it. You're going to learn the nuances by being in the market each and every day. You're going to learn those signs that are the ones you should pay attention to, those that you should not pay attention to. You're going to learn all the little nuanced things that you need to become a successful trader. You'll know the times of the year where it's just not worth doing anything. You'll be able to read the smoke signals that are coming off from the market, from your favorite stocks, your favorite ETFs. It takes practice, day in, day out, not a lot, but every day. And that's what so many people find hard to do. They just can't do it. I'm living proof, no matter how busy you are, you can do it every day because I do, because I never miss a program unless I am truly sick and in bed. When I had COVID, I think I missed one show. I believe I did. I just was not physically able to do it. It was many months ago, but since then, I've been fine. And for years, I've done this show, and rarely, I remember I was on a cruise in the Mediterranean, and I just could not get a signal from the ship, and I couldn't do the show because I couldn't download the charts. But again, if I can do it, you can do it. Let's jump into these charts. The S&P is up. The NASDAQ 100 is up. Bonds are down. Gold is up. Bitcoin is down just a little bit. And by the way, speaking of cryptocurrencies, charting crypto, I will be doing that special broadcast as soon as I wrap up this show. That'll be going out to all you Patreon members. Look for the email. If you don't see the email, you can always go to our Patreon site, and that is there for you. It's locked. It's only for Patreon supporters. If you want to support us, there's a few slots left at the $80, the $30 a month. There's a couple left, I think, at $100. And again, special benefits all the way around. So we appreciate your support. Let's jump in. What do we see happening on the S&P 500? We had that weekly vertical crossover going down. Again, didn't like it so much when that first was occurring. We warned the derivative oscillator was still positive. Not a good sign for a weekly vertical crossover. I wasn't excited about it. I didn't trade it. What did we see happen? Well, we then saw over the course of the next week a green spinning top. This week, as of what happened today with a 1.56 rise, we have a green up candle. Now we're how many days? 3 days into a 5-day candle. Do we have a crossover going up? Not yet. Will we have one by the end of the week? I don't know, but look at that. Derivative oscillator's still negative. So overall, don't have a crossover yet. Market is still negative. We'll see after this bump up that's happening over the course of the day. We'll watch how, again, this candle continues to develop throughout the course of the week. Look at the 2-day. Again, a green spinning top. The prior 2-day candle representing Monday and Tuesday, red spinning top. We do see it's changed color, which means, of course, indecision tending more up at this point. Price percent oscillator, just like the weekly, still negative. Derivative oscillator, also still negative. So we still have that negative wind in the market. We look at the half day, and it was trying as best it could. It's laminated at the end of the day. Had some slowdown in the down movement in the morning, as far as oscillation goes, and then popping up further in the afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on things. Everything is still negative. So we'll see what happens on Thursday and Friday as the week continues to move along. Now, the Qs was, again, banging down earlier in the week, banging up now on Wednesday, 2.28%. Went from a solid green spinning top to an open box green spinning top. Now remember, solid colors, You see those always come after a red down candle, almost always. That means a slowdown in the down movement. When you see a red open box candle, that's a slowdown in the up movement. That's what the Heikin Ashi candlesticks tell you. What do we see going on as far as the price percent oscillator goes? It's still below the red signal line. Derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum. Price has pushed up above the weekly trend line. Not much of a weekly trend line there. So keep your eye on things. Look at the 2-day. Has popped above the 2-day trend line. We look at the price percent oscillator, still negative and flat. Derivative oscillator negative, losing downward momentum on the 2-day. Half day, we can see a slowdown in the down movement in the morning, pop up in the afternoon, a lot of upward movement, then declining. We see the price percent oscillator heading up, derivative oscillator negative, losing downward momentum. That price percent oscillator on the Qs is still negative. So we'll keep a close eye on where things are. We did, of course, just like the S&P, the Qs did cross over going down, but that derivative oscillator was still negative. We pointed that out on Friday. So that has been a problem. What do we like to see? Well, we like to see the price percent oscillator and the derivative oscillator crossover at the same time. When that occurs, it makes us feel better about the movement and the continuation of that movement. Now, let's go from the NASDAQ 100 to 20-year bonds, down for the day, 0.96%. Again, the overall mood of bonds is still up. Price percent oscillators positive, heading down. Derivative oscillators positive, losing upward momentum. What do we see as far as the week goes? A solid red spinning top. Again, it went from an open box spinning top, a red one, a green one prior to that over the last 3 weeks, now to a solid red spinning top. So getting more negative, but still hasn't crossed over. We don't see a crossover yet, and we don't see the derivative oscillator going red yet. We look at the 2-day. Again, a red spinning top there after a green spinning top. Price percent oscillators positive, but heading down. Derivative oscillators still positive. So are bonds and stocks going to switch positions as the week moves on? I don't know. We'll see what happens. You can see also price percent oscillator on the half-day chart. Looked like it was chugging up for a crossover and then pulled away, going down. Still negative. Derivative oscillator has been positive for a day and a half. 2 red down candles for the day. So that is where we are on bonds. What about gold? Gold is up a little bit for the day, 0.43%, but still overall got a whole lot of downward pressure on gold. May have a weekly vertical crossover by the end of the week. Derivative oscillator is also showing negative, so we'll see how that goes. That'd be 4 weeks of strong down movement. What about the 2-day? It's been negative for quite a while since it crossed over going down back on the 24th of November. And of course, slid sideways for a while and more accelerating in its downward movement. Now price percent oscillator negative, derivative oscillator negative, losing some downward momentum. Look at this half day. You can see where the sideways slide was, and over the last couple of days, gold moving down further. Again, recovering some at the end of the day. You can see where it tried to cross over and then popped back up with that upward movement at the end of the day. And gold, like we said, up a little bit, but still lots of downward pressure on gold. Now, let's go lastly to Bitcoin. Bitcoin down for the day, 0.11%. Big green down candle. The biggest that we've seen going down in a while. Price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line. Derivative oscillator heading down. 2-day chart, again, continuing to move down. Price percent oscillator moving down. Derivative oscillator losing a little bit of downward momentum. Half day, again, you can see how these candles are getting smaller and flatter as we move along. So maybe some of this downward pressure might be petering out, and we might see things rotating over on the half day going up and then influencing the 2-day. But right now, a lot of downward pressure on Bitcoin as far as the New York Stock Exchange Bitcoin Index goes. Things are a little different with the Bitcoin, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Now, when I say a little different, it was up for the day, but you can still see all that downward pressure. We'll talk about that for our Patreon members in the next broadcast, Charting Crypto. We'll go through what's happening with Bitcoin, what's happening with Ethereum, and of course, the new Bitcoin strategy ETFs. You've got 3 new, fairly new ETFs. You can see how short these charts are. They just got started in October. And that, of course, those are Bitcoin futures indexes, or not indexes, but funds that actually invest in Bitcoin futures, short-term Bitcoin futures. And of course, everything else we have to go through, all sorts of crypto-related ETFs. So, lots of interesting stuff to share with you. We'll jump into all those in just a minute for our Patreon members. If you're interested in learning how to chart crypto, then of course, become a Patreon supporter. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.